Hello and welcome to Mountain Patriot Homestead. I have such a mess surrounding me this afternoon, but I hope you'll forgive me if I'm working on this while we're talking because I have just got so much to do and only a few hours away till bedtime, and this has all got to be done before I go to bed. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I am getting ready for a event tomorrow called Fill the Field. That is it's turning into a biannual event where more or less it's a flea market. It's a little community flea market near where we live. And so we're working on putting some stuff in it tomorrow and Saturday. And we've been working on this for a while. So just this stuff that I'm working on this evening is just some of the last of it. I've been doing, I don't know if you saw one of my past videos where I was talking about Swedish death cleaning. This is part of that. But also my husband is kicking in stuff from his shop and just different things that I'm sure some of you can relate, that somehow over time we just accumulate things and we have no idea sometimes why we even have them. Not that we don't know that we got them, but we later on, why did I even get that? But anyway, that's a lot of what this is. Now some of my stuff, my canning stuff that I have here behind me, and some of my jelly making stuff, that's not going. I'm not getting out of the jelly making or canning business, so none of that's going. But while I'm doing all this other, I'm just kind of rearranging and everything. But I just want to tell y'all, I'm tired. Is anybody else out there just tired? And I think people are just tired of everything. just like I said, if you please excuse me because I'm gonna talk and work. But I think everybody is just tired in general. It's just sometimes the craziness that goes on. A lot of it doesn't make any sense. And I'm pricing things if you're wondering what I'm doing. But just some of the craziness that's going on just doesn't make any sense. I'll give you an example. I seen this and my husband at first didn't believe me until I showed him the actual website where you could go online and order these things. But it is I don't even know how to say this without sounding crazy, but you can go find it yourself. I'm not advertising these things, but there's a deal online where you can go online and order various drone, robotic dog, just different types of technology that has a flamethrower attached. And I don't mean like something that you'd like to barbecue with. No, I'm talking shoots 30 feet, flamethrower. Why? They're not for military. It wasn't advertising to the military, wasn't advertising to firefighters or anything like that. It was just advertising. Me and you could order one. And in the grand scheme of things, now for me it would be expensive, but if you were in the business of hurting people, they really were not that expensive. So not only am I physically tired, but I'm just mentally tired of the craziness. And I think other people are too. I notice just how short-tempered people are. I think people are, as I'm putting price tags on things, people are feeling the crunch of not being able to afford a lot of the things that they're used to being able to afford, or if they are, they're paying a lot more for it. I watched a couple of people today just frantic because their water was turned off. And I can understand. I mean, especially if you've got a family, it's real helpful to have water in the house. But their water was turned off. And of course, I don't know what their true circumstances were, but I was overhearing, and they were talking. One had lost his job and just started another one, so he was waiting on his first paycheck. The other swore that he had sent in the payment, and he was trying, and unfortunately for him, he sent in cash, which you never do. Never, ever, ever mail or drop in cash on anything. First of all, it can get lost and blow to the wind, but never, ever, just put money in an envelope and send it off through the mail. That's insane. My mail gets lost and it's not worth the postage stamp it was on it. But, you don't ever, but he swears that he was just beside himself because he didn't have the money that it was going to cost to get his water back on. But it's not just things like that. It is, gas prices have went up. I know that for a fact because I filled up my truck yesterday. Gas prices have went up. Just insurance. Insurance is another thing. Now, I told you here back at the end of the year when I switched jobs, that one of the reasons that I had switched is my insurance that I had at the place I was working, a governmental entity, my insurance went up, no lie, went up over 900%. So I had an offer for another job. I jumped on it. And it's not just that. We had one of our insurance agents met with my husband this week to do a walk around the farm, assessing any increases in insurance for here on the farm. Just for, we've got everything insured for various, cattle's insured and this is insured and that's insured. But for the farm buildings, that not including the house, but the farm buildings themselves, it cost us, I think he said approximately $600 a year for that insurance, just to cover, bare bones for our buildings. And it's going to go up another $300. And it's like, $300? That's, it's going up 50%. Yeah, and then it makes you think, do we really need it? Is it something, do we think that the buildings are going to fall down? Do we think, of course you never think they are, but that's why you have insurance, just in case it does. But, your health insurance, your car insurance, your home insurance, every insurance is just going up and up and up. And it seems like they're paying less and less and less. I was talking to a coworker today who was saying that her spouse, who works for another entity, his insurance was just giving him the whole runaround because they didn't want to cover I think it was echocardiogram. They didn't want to cover that because even though his physician's in network, the technician who would run the machine was not in network. And it's like, give me a break, please. Now, I'm not, just trying to bash insurance. I'm just giving you an example of the frustration that people are going through of just trying to make it day to day. And that's why I think everybody's tired. It's just, I don't worry. I don't believe in worrying. I think that worrying, when you worry about something, you're worshiping whatever it is that you're worrying about instead of believing that God's going to take care of it. But I'm also not one that believes that I should just sit back and just, oh, it's all going to be okay. God's going to do it all. Well, no, I think He expects me to do some of it. I mean, not, I don't have the power to do a lot of this stuff or to make changes, but I am expected to work and to take care of my home and to take care of my household and my family. I'm supposed to be taking care of those things. And so when, I'm sorry, I keep ducking down further and further because I'm reaching further and further. But, it just, I can't imagine what some people are going through. I can imagine what I went through when I was young and I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I'll tell you, for a short time in my early life, not, early adult life, I was homeless for a while. I lived in the back of a van on a beach, or not a van, station wagon on a beach because I didn't have a home. Now that was a very short period of time because I got a job. I had a job, but it wasn't paying enough that I could pay rent. And that was the problem. I didn't have money saved up to rent an apartment or a house or anything. And so even though I had a job, I wasn't making enough to rent. And so for a very short time, I lived in the back of a station wagon on a beach. Thankfully, that lasted about that long. And I got another job where I was able to get housing, not government housing. I was able to actually rent something and move on. But, a lot of people have been in that, to that point where, sorry, making noises, where, you've had to struggle at some point in your life. I have had it where I might not have anything but a 10-pound sack of potatoes to make it until the next payday. Well, you sure learn a lot of different ways to eat potatoes when it's that. One time the only thing I had in my cabinet was a loaf of bread and a thing of mustard in the refrigerator. Mustard sandwiches will get you by until you can get more. So there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and I think it's making them mentally and physically tired. It's making people short-tempered, and that's just something to be aware of. Be aware of the other people around you. Be considerate of what other people around you are going through, but also be aware of how maybe other people around you are reacting. One of the things I seen this past week was a case of road rage where a guy thought another guy cut him off or whatever, and so he jumps out with a gun. It's like, okay, well that sure made the day go better, didn't it? I mean, why would you do? But again, people are short-tempered, and don't push people's buttons unless you're prepared for the consequences, because people are, I think, right on edge anymore. And I believe that there are things going on in this world that we don't even know, and it's probably for the best that we don't know, and just let it be. That's the kind of things that we just need to let the Lord handle, because we have enough to do just handling our own day to day. But we can be aware of what's going on, and sticking your head in the sand and pretending that, oh, everything's hunky-dory, well, that's not the way to do it either. It's just like this little old sale that we're going through. going through. Yeah, we're going through it. Going to, we'll make a little bit, but it's not going to be, it's not going to pay for our time to be there. But it will empty out a bunch of this stuff. It will free up area for us, and it'll just clean things out of our lives that we don't need anymore. We've had use for it, or maybe we didn't. We thought we did when we got it, but we really didn't. But it will clear it out, and to me, it's freeing when you get things like this moved out. So, even though it takes a lot of work just to do this, there's a purpose behind it. And I think with all of what's going on right now, we all need to have purpose. I'm going to show you what I'm fighting with here in a second. I'm fighting with a witch's leg that was attached to a bag that I couldn't get turned loose. Now, here's one of those things that I got that later on was like, I don't have time to fool with this. Now, I probably could make time, but I know that I probably won't. And what I was going to do with it is, I don't really do Halloween, but what I was going to do with it is I was going to turn it into an elf leg. I was going to repaint it and make it into like an elf leg. And these are things that you stick like in the little hay bales and stuff like that you see that people used to decorate with. Or you could even stick it into a floral arrangement for Christmas or whatever. And that was the purpose of why I had a couple of these, was I was going to do that. It didn't happen. And, honestly, I am getting to the point in my life, I look around, and the way I kind of measure it, it's like with this Swedish death cleaning, is I look around and I think, if I were to kill over tonight, do I want my kids to have to deal with all of this? I mean, there's nothing in here that really matters. In the grand scheme of things, it would be one of those things that you could open the door and give it away. But I really see no purpose in keeping it around forever, thinking one of these days, yeah, because one of these days I'll never do it, and it's just going to keep sitting here. Now, I'll show you other little stuff that I've got that I might would you, because I love buffalo check, and I might would use this for something, and I might, because I have used a bunch of this. But why in the world I thought I needed so many of these? You go and you find these, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna get 5 of these. Well, I probably only needed 1. I don't know why I got 5. It's 9 feet of it. So I guess if I was really doing, the Taj Mahal or some really big thing, then I would have needed a whole bunch of this. But I've got a little bitty house. I didn't need a whole bunch of this stuff. But, I don't know. No explanation for what I do sometimes. But anyway. That's what I'm up to this afternoon. I just wanted to stop in. We haven't sat and visited for a while, so I just thought I would bring you into my mess pile and kind of just tell you a little bit about what's going on in my world. And I'd like it if you'd drop me a note down below in the comments and let me know what's going on in yours. I do hope, I'm not going to promise this, guys, because I don't know what the rest of the weekend will bring, because Friday and Saturday is this event, and it's like we've got to be there, I think, 7 o'clock in the morning, and it runs till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then, of course, you've got to pick stuff up and all of that, and depending on the weather, we may have to load everything up tomorrow evening, bring it home, and then Saturday take it back up there and set it all up and then tear it back down. So I don't know if Friday or Saturday I'll have enough time to get anything else done. But if not, hopefully Sunday I want to break out my recipe box and maybe share one of my old recipes with you. Anyway, that's my plan. I don't know that will happen, but if you would like to see something like that, please let me know down in the comments, or if there's something else you'd like to see. Just give me your ideas, give me your thoughts. I mean, I don't come on here just to talk to hear my head roar. I want to kind of have interaction with y'all, and it really makes it one-sided if I don't. But I have got a lot to do, and I've got to get with it, or I'm going to be here till midnight. So I'm going to say good evening, and I hope to talk to y'all again real soon. Love y'all. Mountain Patriot Homestead, signing out.